Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda, and I am so happy that you have joined me to find out about a readathon that I am co-hosting in October. It is called the Long Walk Readathon, and really, that's all that you need to remember. So when you're going over to sign up for this readathon, you're going to see a lot of other words and a lot of other teams to join. None of that matters. You just remember the Long Walk Readathon and the Long Walk team, because that's my team and that's where I would like for you to come join. I am really just kidding, because Jake and Stacy do a very good job of keeping the teams as even as possible. So you can request to be on the best team, but you might not end up on the best team. And I apologize in advance if you are on a different team that's not the best team. Now, this readathon might be a little bit difficult to understand. There's a few things that you need to know about it. Number one, there are 20 prompts. I guess, number one, it is the Long Walk Readathon based off of a Stephen King book written as Richard Bachman. You do not have to read any Stephen King books. That's the first rule about this readathon, is that it is not, even if it were based on Stephen King, we do some Stephen King readathons over here. They're not, you don't have to read Stephen King to do it. Okay. So now back to what you need to know. There are 20 prompts. Those prompts need to be fulfilled with books. You don't have to do 20 prompts. Okay. Number one, you do as many prompts as you think you can do. That's it. And you get to pick and choose the prompts that you want to do. No prompts count for any teams or anything like that. You get all 20 prompts to decide how you want to use them. And you get to pick the books that you want for each of those prompts, but you need to pay attention to how many pages are in the books, because that is going to matter for the game board. So yes, we have 20 prompts and we have a game board. I love the way this has been structured and set up. Stacy did the majority of all of this. We had input, yes, where we would say, oh my gosh, that's so great that you did that. That was our input. We a few times were like, hey, okay, I helped with the game board setup, which means that a couple of times I was like, let's spread out those points. Like that was my contribution to this. Stacy picked everything. She set everything up. She did such a great job. It looks so cool. So let me get out of the way and we'll look at what we have going on here, and then we'll talk about my TBR for the Long Walk Readathon. Okay, we're going to start right here, although this is not where I actually recommend that you start. I recommend that you read over these. You know how when you're in school and you're taking a test, one of those tests where you're doing reading comprehension, and some teachers, their theory is for you to skip to the end, read the questions, so that when you go through the comprehensive paragraph, you know what to be looking for, right? That never worked for me, because by the time I got back up to the paragraph, I forgot what it was that I was looking for. So it was better for me to just read the whole paragraph and then look at what I was looking for. But for those of you who want to know what you're looking for first, that's what the prompts are. So there are 20 of them. I'm going to read them kind of quickly because you can read them on your own yourself. But we have a book with a road or someone walking on the cover. Now, book covers are static things. They're not actually walking. So if it looks like they're walking, okay? A book that includes a competition or trial. A book with a character in a life or death situation. A book that shares a title word with a game show. You are really going to need the Discord for this, because people have been sharing a list of American game shows. Somebody else came in and shared UK game shows. There are so many other game shows that people are offering names for. So this prompt becomes more and more wide open. So go check out the Discord for this. A book by an author who uses a pseudonym or a pen name. Somebody has already asked, do you have to read the book where they use the pseudonym or pen name? And the answer is no. If that author writes under a different name, period, you can read either their regular name or their pen name or whatever you want. A book that has been or is being adapted. A book narrated by one of your favorite narrators. Now, this does not mean that you have to listen to it on audio, but if you have a favorite narrator, or if you have a favorite book, you can find another book that person narrates, and you can still read it physically or ebook or whatever. You do not have to listen to an audiobook. Read an author for the third time. This was so hard for me because I don't always know the authors of the books that I read. Like, I'll read a book, and if it's just meh, or if I don't like it, I don't pay attention to the author, which is bad for me, because then I end up reading books I don't like again from an author I knew I should have avoided. But anyway, this one was hard for me. A book by an up and coming horror author. Again, the Discord has you covered. There's a whole list of them over there that you can go check out. If they write books that are not horror, you don't have to read their horror books. So I specifically ask about T. Kingfisher because she is one of my favorite authors, and she writes some horror, but then also not. And they told me, yes, I could read something that was not horror, still written by her, because she is an up-and-coming horror author. There you go. A book that has a predominantly white, black, or orange cover. This was so nice and easy. A book about a character who is running from someone or something. A book by an author who shares one name with a Stephen King book character. Y'all, there's a whole Wikipedia page about Stephen King, and they have an alphabetized list of every character that he's ever had. And I literally was like, okay, Amy, this author's name is Amy. I would like to find someone in his books named Amy. Literally at the top, there's a search feature for every page. I just typed in Amy, and I kept going until I found one. And did I? Yes, eventually I did. A book by an author who typically releases a new book every year. Typically means it doesn't have to be exactly every year. Maybe you go back. I went back and found somebody that has released a book every year since 2022. But before that, it was a long period in between releases. So it doesn't matter. Typically, especially now, they're releasing them every year. A book with a bully or a mean-spirited character. A book set in a small town. A book featuring something paranormal or the occult. A book with a person who is imprisoned or in police custody. This was difficult, but imprisoned means a lot of different things. So go ask in Discord if you're wondering if your book fits or not. Everybody over there, especially Jake and Stacey, have the final say in it, and they will let us know. A book by an author who has been part of a collaboration. So this is really easy if you like horror writers and even some fantasy and sci-fi writers, because they do a lot of collaborations where they're all put a short story into a larger book or something like that. So that one is not too difficult. A book that includes zombies, necromancy, reanimated corpses, or reincarnation. And finally, a Discord buddy read or a read-along book. Jake has all of those books listed below that he has done a buddy read in his Discord channel. Or we're doing one in my Discord channel. I think there are some other Discords that have buddy reads. Read those or do a read-along book with another group that's doing something. Those are the 20 prompts. And again, you just need to have those like in the back of your head as you're thinking about like, where am I going to go and what am I going to do? Because the next part is where you really get into the planning. I think I'm almost completely out of the way up here. This is the game board. And there are a few things that we're going to hit on and talk about. I'm not going to go through every one of these. There's actually a video on Stacey's channel, which I will link down below. And they broke down, Stacey and Jake read everything that happened along every path of the board and explained what's going on. But I'm going to tell you what I did. And I'm not going to show you my board because I showed it to my team and I said, do you guys think that I should share this, or is it giving too much away? Because it's literally planned out everything I'm going to read in the order that I'm going to read it for the whole month to do this board. There's two things to know about the board. You can do the board 2 times through, like from 1 to 40 and back 1 to 40, or you can do the board until you run out of 20 prompts and then you're done. Those are the 2 ways that you complete the readathon. You go through the board twice, or you read 20 books, or you do both, which is what I was trying to do. So what I did was I added a couple of tennis shoes as my little icons, and I made 1 red and 1 blue. And I wanted to do 10 stops through with the red shoe and 10 stops with the blue shoe and get from 1 to 40 and 1 to 40 both times. Now, you will see there is nothing on here that tells you how you move forward. That is going to depend on the page number of the books that you read. So for your team to gain points, you're going to need to land on any number that is green. So that is 3, 5, 7, 12, 14, 16, 18, 23, 29, 37. The rest of them that are green but have a plus sign, a green plus sign, those are for extra points for your team. So that is 21 and 35. And then number 40 has 2 pluses because you get 1,000 points for landing on or passing number 40. So I went through and I was like, oh, I definitely want to land on those. So I marked the like big ones that I knew I wanted to land on. I did the same thing for the attacking another team. So you can see down here, attacking another team is just a red number. So 2, 4, not 6, but 8, 13, 15, 17, 22, 24, 26. Most every other one. We tried to make sure they were not the same ones that you were landing on every time. And then if it has a minus, like 19 has a minus, and you'll notice it has a Pennywise on it. That's terrifying. Number 10 also has a minus, 31 has a minus, and 38 has double minus. So you go through here and you're like, ooh, I really want to take some points from other teams. Now, sometimes you're removing points from every team, every other team that's not yours. And sometimes you get to pick the team that you want to remove points from. It just depends on what the spot is. And again, Stacy's video will explain which ones that is. Then the bees, the ones that are the blue bees, those are the bonus challenges. Some of them are really easy, like you're gonna draw a Stephen King book cover. I only say that's easy because you can just do it with a piece of paper and a pencil. Some of them are more difficult, like carve a pumpkin or take a picture of or share a picture of a pumpkin that you have carved in the past. People have been asking about doing this in different ways. If you live in a part of the world that doesn't celebrate with pumpkins, or you don't celebrate Halloween at all, like how do we decorate there, and how do they get the bonus challenge there? So again, the Discord has all the answers. There are lots of other things that you can do other than carve a pumpkin, which is good because I'm not touching the pumpkin guts. That's disgusting. Anyway, there are two other spaces, the orange numbered space and the like really dark orange numbered space. Those are going forward or going backwards. So if you land on number 6 right here, you can see that somebody's giving you a piggyback ride. So you get to move forward 2 spaces. And if you land on this one right here, this is number 11, you dropped your water bottle, you go back 2 spaces. So you want to make sure that you're not landing on space number 9 and then just going forward 2 spaces, because then you have to come right back and you can't do the bonuses 2 times. Everything else on the board, you can land on it both times going through. You can land on it when you come back. Like you can land on 6 and it'll send you to 8, but you can't really get back to 6. But the next time you can land on 6 and it'll send you to 8. So you can do it both ways. It just doesn't do you any good to go back to the bonus because you're not getting any points for that. Now, again, how do you move forward on the board? It is the page numbers of your books. Based on 100 pages, that is how many you will move forward. If your book has 200 pages, you move forward 2 spaces. If your book has 600 pages, you move forward 6 spaces. So my advice, what I did, if you know you're going to read all 20 books, this is what I did. I went through and I marked 20 spaces on the board. Well, I didn't mark 20. I marked maybe like 12 spaces that I knew I wanted to hit. And then it was sometimes like, okay, how many pages do I need to read to get there? Oh, I need to read a 900-page book? No, let me put 1 in the middle and I can read, or 2 in there. I can read 2 300-page books. That gets me closer to where I want to go. So you can play around with this as much as you want to. They have given you this copy on the Discord that you can save. I put it in Canva and played around with it in Canva. I will also link my video below about how I use Canva and what I have done with Canva in case you have missed that one and you want like a Canva refresher when it comes to books. I will help with that. That should help with that. But feel free to ask me any questions down below and I will answer everything that I can. Whatever I can't answer or don't know, the Discord knows. The Discord knows way more than I do. So you could go there immediately or you can ask me too. But I just put it in Canva. I played around with it. I will give you a tiny little sneak peek of what my board looks like. Okay, that's it. That's all you get. The tiny little sneak peek of what my board looks like with both rounds and how many books I need to read. Now, you can see at the bottom that I do have a couple of things down here that have information on them about the books that I want to read. I did do a page like this. I moved this out. Well, I'll show you what I did first. I went through all of the books that I want to read and I put them on boards based on how many pages were in the books. These are all 400-page books. These are 500-page books. That's 600-page books. So I went through from 200 to 600 and I picked all of those that I wanted to choose from. And then I was like, okay, a book with a road or someone walking on the cover. So I went back through my big pile of books and I was like, okay, a 500-page book has somebody walking. Let me move that over here. I put a little 5 beside it and I kept up with how many 500-page books did I need? How many 300-page books did I need? Like so on and so forth. I will tell you, the majority of the books that I'm reading are 400 pages, if you couldn't tell from this giant list of 400-page books. I will also tell you that the total number of pages that I'm reading for the month is only 8,500 pages, which if you're finishing the whole board, in order to get to the end of the board, you have to read 4,000 pages because it's 40 spaces. Each space is 100 pages. So you have to read 4,000 to get to the end of the board. So to circle the board 2 times, which is what I'm trying to do, that's 8,000 pages minimum. So mine being 8,500 pages, I don't feel like I'm reading a lot of wasted space. Like 500 extra pages in the whole scheme of things is not that big of a deal. So if you're thinking of it that way and you're like, there's no way I'm reading 4,000 pages in a month, then you look at the board and you go, okay, I can't get all the way to 40, but maybe I can read 2,500 pages in a month. So in those first 25 sections of the board over here, what are the best ones for you to hit? And then you go through and you're like, okay, I can do this many books. I mean, if you want to read 20 100-page books, you're going to stop at every spot along the way, which is not true because you're going to hit 6 and it's going to move you to 8. So you're not going to get to hit 7. So then you're going to go 9, 10, 11 like that. And then when you hit 11, you'll have to go back to 9. So it's not going to work for you reading 20 100-page books, but adding a couple of 200-page books in there, if that's what you wanted to do, you could do that. You're just not going to get all the way through the board, which is totally fine because it's based on page number. Again, I hope that I have explained it as well as I can. I will make sure that Jake's channel and Stacy's, not their channel, their videos down there that explains more about the readathon on Jake's channel and specifically the game board on Stacy's channel. So I will link those down below and make sure they're there for you. But I'm not telling y'all what my TBR is for the month of October, other than some of the books from these lists are in there. I don't know how many of them. I'm not telling you how many or what they are, but some of those books are on my TBR. Speaking of that, though, I think I'm going to play a game in October, a new TBR game. I just don't know what it's going to be yet, and I don't think I'm going to do it till halfway through the month. So if you guys were here when I was playing lots and lots of TBR games and you've been missing one of them, let me know down below which one you've been missing that you want me to bring back and do, and I'm going to do it. That is it for this video. Go over and join the team, the Long Walk team for the Long Walk Readathon. I'm sorry that our color is gray. I mean, I can't help that they made Stephen King's Long Walk book gray, but I'm gray. If you want the coolest color team, I would go with Kate's team because that is a really cute blue and I love it. So if I were picking off of the team colors, I would have to say Kate's team is the cutest. We have gray, but we can make gray popular again, right? At some point, gray had to be a popular color. So let's bring it back to whenever gray was the best and everybody wanted to be gray. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.